shot idea. Welcome to the Daily WIP, the show we discover everyone is becoming a media company. On the show today we're going to talk to Charlie Bleakley about film writing. So
I love the intro. I love it. I love it so good.
The speed, you got to do it as fast as humanly possible, especially because I'm so cold I can barely move.
Yeah.
We're here in Island Bay at the moment, which is where Charlie grew up.
Yes.
And we were just sitting over there talking about everything.
Eating chips.
And eating chips.
Yes.
But one thing I want to talk about is that currently you're writing a feature film.
Yes.
You're writing your first feature film. And so you've been doing it for 2 years.
Yes.
You've been writing a few versions of the script. You've gone through script development.
Yes.
You've got funding from the New Zealand Film Commission, doing all these things.
Yes.
So what is one of the main things that you've learnt in recent times, which has changed your trajectory?
Well, I've just had a lot of script editor help, which is like basically very experienced people who know how to deal with feature film form. And a big thing that I was dealing with was learning about adding conflict to the story, adding conflict which creates drama. I had a lot of kind of entertaining scenarios and fun things that were going on, but I didn't necessarily have a central conflict that drove the story forward. And it's become a real two things: conflict and decision making, characters making clear decisions.
Right.
Those are two big things that have been a big part of my new plan for my next draft.
And that whole thing about decision making, is that about things not happening to characters, but characters actively choosing which way something goes?
Exactly. They'll bring that stuff on for themselves.
Yeah.
And I had it. So I learned a bit about that. I was over in Melbourne, and I did a script workshop with a script editor, and then I went to some workshops that were part of the Melbourne Film Festival.
Yeah.
And then immediately after that, I went and saw a brilliant movie called The Square.
Yeah.
And it's such a good movie, and it's
it's
a Palme d'Or winner, so it's kind of like art house darling.
Yeah.
But I just had this Hollywood woman talk about whole decision kind of technique for a central character, and this art house film completely fulfilled all the stuff, all the Hollywood stuff she was talking about.
Yeah.
Basically, is that every decision the central character would make made complete sense, but it created more issues for himself down the line.
Yeah.
And every decision was an expression of something that he had to deal with and he had to develop in himself. And it was interesting to have done that workshop, go and see the film, brilliant movie, but then also go, that's a touchstone for that for really good feature film storytelling. It was great.
Yeah. That's awesome. So if you think about what you've been learning and you think about different lengths of videos, so a lot of the people who watch this are making short form content for brands and other types of people, and so if you think about conflict, it seems like that should be the basis of any story, right? Is that otherwise, what is the point of the story? You know, I went to the shop, they had the milk, I bought it, I went home. That's not a story. You went to the shop, on the way you were followed.
Yes, exactly. You know? exactly.
That's a story.
There you go, suddenly got a story. Well, it's interesting because I've done short film stuff that have done reasonably well, but there is a different level that you have to take to when you go to a feature film. But in a short film thing, it's about making it simple enough and not being too complicated.
Right.
But making a conflict that's really interesting. Like the one you described could work, but then you need to have the characters in place where you go, I care. I give a shit about the fact that person is being followed, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's definitely, you need an element of that with short form, but it needs to be simpler, really simple.
Right.
Almost poetic at times, even if it's a
nice.
silly thing, you know.
So if you're thinking about maybe even like a 2-minute video, then you need something that is just so tiny. But it's just totally understandable.
Yes.
Where you just go, okay, I get it, and you release one uncomplicated piece of conflict, and then somehow it's resolved, and the audience gets that payoff.
Well, I think there's an interesting thing with short form stuff where you don't necessarily need to pay it off with a short form thing. You can ask a question and then leave people hanging with, and that's what makes them, that sort of draws them in. I would argue, I think there's stuff out there that does that kind of thing. Yeah. And again, it's what a great poem can do, where it kind of goes, here's a feeling, and here's a thing, think about that, and then you kind of resolve it for yourself afterwards. Yeah. When you go to a longer form thing, that's the job of the filmmaker to answer those questions. But I think in some short form stuff, some of the most beautiful short form stuff leaves an open ending, but is asked such a fascinating question that you've enjoyed what they've done.
You've enjoyed the question.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I suppose that almost moves into what Haneke's doing with feature filmmaking. Michael Haneke, go and have a look at his work. The point that he always makes is that he's there to open questions. He poses a lot of questions. He doesn't want to answer them. He doesn't suppose he knows the answers. He just poses the questions and lets the audience go away and then think about their own lives.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. And that's over 2 hours. You know?
Yeah.
And that's great. And he, of course, wins all the palm deals.
But because he does it so beautifully, though, it's really satisfying. But the thing is, the questions he's asking are so fundamental and real. You feel it in yourself, and you leave the cinema like going, "What am I doing?" Yeah, exactly. What am I doing?
Why am I here? Yeah.
And then you have a few beers and you forget about it. But up until then,
you chill out.
Yeah, exactly.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
So for anyone watching this is Charlie Bleakley, a filmmaker, a friend of mine, and we're in Island Bay. And so the thing to think about here is, what conflict can you bring to video? Otherwise, really, you're just telling people some facts, and no one really cares. Anyway, see you tomorrow.